true to myself, at the end. And I've not been at different times of my life, I've been married 3 times, and, every mother knows what it's like to serve, just the sheer energy that's required to even, give birth and then be a mother. So I haven't always, and I don't always even today. I would say that it's a process, right?
Yeah.
Of remembering always to come back. And one of the greatest pains, I think, of being someone who came to write new ways is the feeling of being misunderstood or not seen or labeled as strange or, bizarre or not valid. And it's challenging to sit in areas and with the awareness and the sight that you may have and understand that nobody there can grab where you're vibrating from. So, but I will say that it is a universal, I'll say starseed life design. It's a common one. So many of us feel like black sheep or like no one ever got us, or, it's very, very, very common. And, I think Ken Carey said a beautiful quote that really helped me at one moment when I was very dark and feeling very isolated living in this world. And he said, if you feel like you don't fit in, it may be because you came here to create something that has never existed before.
It's very beautiful.
And I love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
So for
it makes so
me,
much sense actually.
yeah.
You don't see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially if you feel that you don't fit in.
Sure.
You don't think that you are there to create something new.
No. You're like, what?
Yeah,
What's
like,
wrong
what's
with me?
wrong with me? Why
Right,
don't
right,
I just
right.
fit in?
Right. Yeah, and human design has been really amazing as well. Are you familiar with human design?
No.
Do you know about it?
No.
Oh, you guys are in love. So it was created, channeled by this man, and I always want to call him Uluru, but that's not it. That's the rock off the coast of Australia. He has a name kind of like that. Uluru, something like that. Anyway, you can look him up online. His website is mybodygraph.com.
Mm-hmm.
And he's no longer in body, but he received a download of an amalgam of like the I Ching, Vedic astrology, and some other system. And so what he proposes is that human beings have incarnated into 4 types. And there's a 5th type now that's starting to incarnate a new evolution. But if you go to mybodygraph.com and you put in your birth details, if you buy the $39 talking body graph, you'll be able to hear his voice.
Wow.
And he'll talk to you about your design.
That's super
And
interesting.
so it's super interesting. And there were certain things that really resonated for me. Like, for instance, I have a split definition. So I'm 2 people.
Wow.
Srimati,
Because you're
Julie.
Srimati and Julie. But
Yeah, and I can never, people are like, well, what do you want?
What do you
I'm like, I don't, they're both
They're
equal.
both-
Yeah.
And now you just said that you don't resonate
With either. Yeah, then you just go beyond.
Yeah,
It just keeps going. But the other thing that was really interesting to me, it was before I was launching Water Tiger, and it shows in my human design that I have an ability to actually channel nature, communicate with nature, talk to animals, and I don't think I ever really owned that in that way. And there's a lot that also says in human design is, I teach from my experience. That's the only place I teach from. I'm not here to present world events or give you statistics or tell you what I think other people should do. I am here to live me and share that, and hopefully, maybe it might inspire you, or it might remind you of who you are. My expertise is to find something that's hidden by sharing my experience, and I push the button and it allows the mutation in the person that's experiencing it. And I have that experience often. People will come and just cry in front of me, or they will cry when they hear my music, frequently. And as a musician, before I really understood this, my son and I, we would play and people would cry. And then we would be like, okay, that's good. Like, that's a
good
good reaction. You know, and now I understand more. It's like I can, it's my design. I can get in there and just tap that one place where you're vulnerable, and that will bring the release.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that information because it gives me a better foundation in my own self. You know, to be like, okay, that's good. Like if I share from my experience, that's good.
And all of this experience and all of the events that now you're putting them into words. Are you writing a book?
Yeah,
you're releasing your memoirs.
So thank you. Yeah, so I have, the memoir is called For the Life of Me. And this is so interesting too, because I had many names that I was trying to think of the good marketing name, you know, and I was playing around with it, whatever. And then literally like a whisper, I was in meditation, not even deep in meditation. It was literally whispered to me. I wasn't even asking for it at that moment. And I was like, that's the name. Like, that was
definitely the name.
So that's the name. And then the name, then I was trying to unify. I was trying to live in a minimal way, right? And I'm looking at everything that I do. I'm Lakshmi with all these arms, and how can I live in a minimal way? So what I did is I wanted to combine things and streamline things. And I was like, no, I'm going to be reading excerpts of my memoir on the podcast, in addition to another topic. So why don't I just call my podcast For the Life of Me? And the other thing is that Divine Throughline was also a great name.
Yeah.
And I'm at a place of greater simplicity today, which is that everything is divine. Everything. So yes, I will be releasing my memoir in November. A lot of it's already written. So I worked on that for 3 years. I also have a book on homeschooling that is also a sort of type of memoir. It's kind of like an adjunct memoir. And that's called Jai Seed. And because some people came to me and asked me to help them with homeschooling, they were like, we need you. I went in my closet and remembered that I wrote an entire book in 2014. So it looks like I'm super prolific.
Yeah.
And I feel like these are all babies that I've been cultivating over all these years, and now they're being born. And kind of one of the most exciting things is that I'm launching my own cheese line.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I love the book. This cheese is nuts.
Thank
yes,
you.
I have it at home, and we tried few of the recipes, and
nice.
I just love plant-based cheese.
That's so great.
Amazing.
Well, I found that I really tapped into a certain technology with that exploration, and I am coming out with a very high-end, very beautiful, artisanal cheese offering. So, and it's, again, you know, I went down the road, I met with the big companies, we came up with catchy marketing names, like all of that, and I'm back with me.
With yourself.
Just with myself, branding with my dear friend Brian O'Hara, who's been doing sacred word mandalas, and on my feed. And he's a branding like genius. And what's incredible is that what he's channeling now, they're actually like codes. So it's an entire other language, because the cheese is a vehicle of my frequency. So it's going to be high end. I'm making it exactly the way that I want to make it, and it's extremely delicious and very expansive. So that will begin in July. It's going to begin with some serious focus.
Did you choose the name already, or you're still?
I did choose a name, and I'm just going to say it. I mean, of course, this is a journey, and it could change and morph, but it's like we had tried to do this Cheese is Nuts, and I have the .com for that. You know, obviously that's my book.
Yeah.
There's so many lawsuits from European cheese industry and also US.
Yeah.
You can't say cheddar, you can't say Roquefort, you can't say, you know.
The names that they're related to the
cheese, to the actual cheese, and you can't even say cheese.
Yeah, you cannot say cheese or milk. Or
yeah, so the thing is I had another idea for kind of a catchy name, and then I just came back to the fact of my human design. I also in my human design represent the mother. I am the mother, and people want me to feed them. And I was given the name Ma Ananda Srimati, which I told you about Ma Ananda, my Ma, who was the great sage who was born, realized, well, my name is almost the same as hers. We have almost every syllable the same.
Wow.
So Ma Ananda Srimati, which I use as Srimati, it means divine mother. So we started with Srimati, just Srimati's offering. We were like, what are we going to call it? So we're calling it Shri Mu, but it's M-U.
Yeah.
And Mu is also a word that's connected to Lemuria, to the ancient times of Lemuria.
Mm-hmm.
So Shri Mu, and it's very artistic and very beautiful and very modern, and it's got Brian's coding, his sacred word coding. And I'm doing 6 flavors, and one of those is, 1 or 2 are going to have actual rinds on them, so legit rinds. I'm also collaborating with an amazing alchemist who you should interview, but he's in Utah.
Oh.
His name is Ram, Compton Ram, and he is the original alchemist. He was the first one before moon juice, before sun potion. And he's a dear, dear friend of mine, and we are collaborating on some sort of expansive cheeses that will be beyond the first initial offering. But he's fermenting and creating microbial populations for me right now that are next level.
Next level.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's really cool.
So interesting.
Yeah, and
How
then
did you try it?
yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm excited to offer that. And then to honor me, I'm going into my own music now. So just me on my own.
Wow.
I've got a synth, a Korg synth on the way. I've got a vocal looper on the way, and I'm just going to start. I've been writing for about a year, so I'm going to record my first solo album without my voice.
Wow,
just,
congrats.
yeah, totally.
When
So,
will that happen?
I'm just going to take the year
Yeah.
and do it. Yeah, so it'll be like a year or something like that.
Of a very nice experience.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
yes.
really looking forward to that. So yeah, so
Thank
you so
very
much. It's so nice to meet
This
you.
was like a next level conversation. I really, really enjoyed it.
You're a beautiful
Thank you,
girl.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you.